So after filming for 15 days, just about non-stop with both this camera and this is the placeholder for what I'm actually currently filming on, which is the vlogging camera, the Canon PowerShot V1. I've finally been able to figure out, is the iPhone camera actually any good? Now, if you don't really want to hang around, you just want to figure out what I think. Can you use an iPhone for vlogging? Yes. Can you use it in a professional setting? To an extent, you can. To an extent. Is it better than a vlogging camera like the Canon PowerShot V1? Sometimes. Is it better than a pro camera for pro camera work? Absolutely not. So that's the brief rundown of that. So if you've got your information, you want to leave, by all means, go ahead. But if you want to see me dive deeper into actually looking at some footage and just diving deeper on what I think in terms of some hot takes and some comparisons, stay along for the video and let's take a look.
Back on the job, look at my eyes, running up ranks. Tell me what it is, tell me what it is.
Okay, so it's always been one of those topics that I've seen online all the time, and it is always, is a smartphone camera usable in vlogging settings? And of course, you see them come across, is it good enough to compete with something like a $10,000 setup for professional use? Now, I am hard on the side of pro cameras. They just cannot be beaten by phones simply because, if I take this lens off, you see in there, that there is the sensor size of the camera. Now, this is the sensor size, this is the camera configuration on the iPhone. I don't even think the three cameras combined have a sensor larger than the Canon R5C. So there's just no way that an iPhone camera can intrinsically be as good as something like this for professional work. So draw that, it's not even a conversation in my mind. Like the work I do on this for the client work we do, I have every now and then tried to just see out of interest, can this thing do what this can do? And it just can't, because it's just a softer image. It just looks a little bit shitter. It looks a lot faker, where this is just as it was shot. And you've got so much more data to work with. So professional, it's just not something that I use an iPhone for. It just isn't. So that's that. For vlogging, and when you're comparing it to a camera that is not as higher end as a R5C, and you're talking about a vlog camera like the PowerShot V1 or the Sony EV1 or EV2 or EV1 Mark II, those cameras are a little bit more basic. So then this is where this can kind of catch up a little bit more. And so before I started doing all this YouTube stuff, I was thinking, can I just use an iPhone? And I did recorded a couple of videos with just the iPhone before I bought the PowerShot, because I was like, it's good enough, right? It's good enough. But coming from the professional side, I mean, you're looking at the image quality and you're like, shit, it just isn't quite hitting enough. Now, let me show you what I mean. So if I pull up this particular video, it's one of the first videos that I posted, and it was before I purchased the vlogging camera that I have now. Now, if you look at certain images, so in the light, the camera looks unreal. It looks great. I'll quickly pull up the video of me being in the supermarket. I think it's a really cool I think those shots always seem to look really good. You can see that the footage is it's really nice. It really does look nice. And so if I could get this kind of look throughout the entire image with just the iPhone, then I wouldn't be buying a vlog camera. It's sharp, it looks good. It's great for vlogging, perfect quality for vlogging. But the issue I get is when you want to get a little bit of background blur, and then when you run into lower light problems, that's when I find that the iPhone falls apart. So if I pull up this one here, it just looks like it's really basic. And of course, vlogging and the style that I'm trying to do, it's trying to be basic, but I don't want it to look this basic, it doesn't quite look that good. And then the other point that I have, you can just see how soft and just mushy the image is. In a darker environment, it just isn't good enough. For me anyway. Wait, why is the torch on? Dang, that was bright. It just isn't good enough. And then on top of that, to get the settings that you really want, you have to use the Blackmagic app, and then you have to kind of control the settings to get the right image. Now, I didn't really like to do that. I found it easier to just have this camera on, and then I could just, dial up the ISO or change the aperture. I'd have more control, and I'd be able to record faster on something like this. So in terms of me, when I was thinking getting into vlogging, and I was like, right, how am I going to actually film? It needs to be a really easy setup to film on, and it needs to give me a good quality, a nice image with not much noise and just good colors. Because by the way, this coloring the iPhone footage when it's this dark, it is GG. No chance you are color grading anything on this because it's fucked. So that's why I ended up buying the PowerShot camera. The image that it's getting naturally is just so much better in most situations compared to this. So you can quite clearly see that my bias is towards the Pro camera, but I must say that there are a couple of times where this camera, it does outperform the PowerShot, and it is in those environments where there's lots of light and there's lots of color. These images look really good. So I do use this for vlogging in conjunction with PowerShot. And especially when I'm kind of going into settings where bringing in a camera like this and I don't want to be kind of obviously recording, I'll bring this out. And you'll see it through the videos. That, you know, you'll see iPhone footage or iPhone style looking footage in the video because it's just easier to shoot in that particular situation. But overall, the vlogging, the camera that is built to do one thing, and it's to film, is better. And then that's not even talking about how it's easy just to rip a SIM card out, rip an SD card out, slam it into the computer, dump the footage, done. Versus you having to kind of filter through all the photos you've took for your vlog stuff and then also filter out all the stuff that you've took for your personal stuff that you don't really want. Yeah, so it gets a little bit messy. So what's the verdict? The verdict is, if you don't have money to buy a dedicated camera to filming, then the smartphone is capable of filming vlogs. Just being mindful that don't shoot in low light, and you should get a pretty good image. That would be my advice for it. But if you do have the money to spend on some kind of vlogging camera, it doesn't have to be the PowerShot V1. It can be the Sony EV1, or there are lower tier, like there are more affordable, like half the price versions of vlog cameras that you can get that are just going to be better than a phone. It's designed to do one thing, and it is to film at as high of a quality as it can. That is my take. I mean, again, I've only been doing this vlog stuff for 15 days, but that's just my hot takes and opinions as a creator who's been filming for into my 50th year now on Pro cameras. I've finally been able to get to the bottom of, can you shoot on something like this? Or is it preferable to buy something like a camera dedicated to filming? So anyway, that's it for today's video. I'm not a tech reviewer at all, but I just wanted to give you my hot take on it after 15 days of really trying to film on both and finally coming to some kind of answer. So I will be using both through my shooting, and I'll pick and choose what one is best for the environment I'm shooting in order to create the best content I can in between my schedule. Anyway, see you on the next one.